We're not trying to be ageist or anything. How old are you?
And I assume that you think the question is relevant. I'm born in 1958.
That's 66.
Yes.
What's the cutoff age for enrollment as a police trainee in South African Police Service? Do you know the cutoff age when they take in trainees?
As a trainee, you mean the young recruits? I'm not sure what the age is.
Yeah, it's 35 years old. And what is the age of retirement for a SAPS member?
60?
60 and then 65 by approval. You indicated that there were statements made by the former Minister Becky Cele, which you did not wish to associate with, if I heard correctly. What specifically are those statements?
Yes, I think this is an important matter. I mean, I was quite surprised by that particular testimony. So I think there is a question that all of us in public office have to ask about the company we keep. And I think that applies when you're in office and when you've left office. So I do not want to be to dwell on this matter. You might compel me to, but I do think that there is a general question of principle about how we conduct ourselves in public office, who we associate with, and to have statements. It's not acceptable to accept accommodation from a criminal, and it didn't appear as if my predecessor, one of my predecessors, considered that to be a problem. He didn't suggest that. And listening to him, I thought that that was not right. It's not giving the right message to the public. A lot of what we are apparently dealing with has got to do with such relationships. Relationships with middlemen, with lobbyists, with those who are peddling influence. And it turns out that some of them may be criminals. That can't be acceptable. It's not acceptable. And so it goes to, it's a question of judgment and probity when you are in a position of influence. And so I didn't agree with that his statements, those particular statements. I did point out that on his general analysis of the issues implicated in the decision to disband the PKKT, that I agreed with his assessment, his reasoning, rather.
Thank you, Acting Minister. So just to be clear, so outside of him having a meeting and accepting accommodation from Kat Maklala, is there anything else? Because that's the only thing that we know. Is there anything else that wasn't reported here as to the ad hoc committee that you know of that is questionable by the former Minister Becky Cele?
No, in fact, let me say, that's why I was surprised by the statement. I mean, I have known Becky Cele for a long time. We have belonged to the same organization. I had no, we're not personal friends. We're in the same organization and have had a respectful relationship when I have encountered him. And I was surprised by those statements. I haven't watched either the Madlanga Commission inquiry or this inquiry consistently throughout the day. I've been busy, So I've tried to watch as much as possible, but I didn't listen to all his testimony. I listened to parts of it, and that part jumped out at me. I thought that if the committee, for instance, is dealing with making recommendations for that will help the country move forward, to make recommendations on systemic reform, then that might be one of the questions to look at. I mean, how we manage conflicts of interest, and the implications of these associations, which appear to have become normalized in our politics, and I don't accept that.
The issue around designated functions for the deputy ministers have come up quite strongly. President Ramaphosa has given this responsibility to the ministers to do so. What is the process? Do you know what the process is of designating functions, which is different to responsibilities of saying, DM, go and represent me in the ad hoc committee or go, but designated functions?
So you can correct me. My understanding is that executive authority cannot be delegated. So a minister exercises executive authority on appointment by the president, exercising his or her constitutional functions. I do not think that the minister can delegate that a constitutionally authorized allocation of responsibility downwards, or to to a deputy minister. So deputy ministers don't exercise executive authority, but it doesn't follow that their role is. I've indicated in my when I was responding to the advocate's question, that the deputy ministers, especially in a large department like the police, do play an important role, and different ministers will have a different attitude. Sometimes there's the potential for conflict, because if a minister is exercising executive authority and they're the one, and you are held accountable, then you may be reluctant to share their responsibility. But that's not my perspective. I'm not saying that sometimes there aren't stress points in such relationships, but I have allocated important functions to them. And it shouldn't be, allocation may not be the right formulation, because we sat down together, discussed it as collegially. We also happen to be comrades, we're in the same party. Often that will be the case. If there were deputy ministers from another party, it wouldn't change my attitude. But I know these, the two of them personally. I respect them. I respect their role also in the organization I belong to. They are leaders in their own right. I respect that. So that helps in my relationship with them. I have to say both of them have been very, I think they've embraced my appointment and my presence. And I value that, because it could have been otherwise.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Acting Minister. I think you have sufficiently covered. You're going to use up all my time, I can just see, but lucky I don't have that many questions for you. Have you engaged the President about, because he came here to Parliament, and during his question and answers about deputy ministers, he indicated that ministers must designate functions that the deputy ministers are going to be responsible for here in Parliament and must answer to it. That's what he told us. So have you engaged him about that? Because sitting down and having an informal meeting or having a meeting with your deputy ministers and saying, okay, these are your responsibilities, seems to be a very different vibe from what we were told as members of parliament, what is expected from the deputy or from the ministers. But I think we'll let that